Good Monday morning. It's August 10th. You found us here at the Weather Desk. I'm meteorologist Craig Moeller. Thanks for joining us this morning. We're going to tackle today's top weather headlines from across the country and around the world. And we're going to start off with some pretty important stuff here in Hampton Roads as well. Nothing severe bearing down on our area today, but it is going to be another very hot day. Lots of heat and humidity. It continues for Hampton Roads. That's Southeast Virginia, Northeast North Carolina, and really much of the mid-Atlantic. I'm also going to have the latest on the wildfires out west. You know, that's been an ongoing issue. Portions of Utah, Nevada, California, up into Washington State. A lot of smoke out there and more issues as firefighters continue to struggle against those flames that are raging, trying to get more containment. We'll update you on some of the big ones going on out there. In addition, and I think this is really interesting, tropical activity is finally starting to pick up in the Atlantic. We went from very little activity for weeks and weeks, really, to now 3 different areas we're watching in the tropical Atlantic, 3 in the Pacific as well. And that's in addition to what was Typhoon Dolphin. It is now a tropical storm. It is down in intensity as it's over China. But we're going to show you some of the trouble that Dolphin created as it went by, impacting Japan, impacting parts of the Philippines with heavy rain, kind of exacerbating flooding from the monsoons, and now wind and more rain into China with this system as it's weakening now over land. In addition, we've got some storm damage to share from over the weekend up in the northeast U.S. We'll talk about that and the severe weather outlook and Hampton Roads work week forecast, what's coming up, and it does include more heat and humidity, but also when we're going to see a break. You'll see that coming up. We're going to start off by taking a look at just how warm it's been. Our August started off in Norfolk with 89, which at the time was normal. Our normal high is now down to 88, and soon it'll be 87. But you can see last week, 6 of the 7 days, they were above normal. That's why they're shaded in red, and we were hot yesterday at 94. We're going to be back up to 94 today and about 95 tomorrow. We haven't had any rain since we had that flooding rain on the 4th of August. There will be rain chances as well, and I'll explain that as we get into the full forecast. We're going to focus on the heat and the humidity right now. This Thompson Creek Window Company Skyview from Nauticus. You're seeing folks that are disembarking from the Carnival cruise ship Sunshine. That pulled into port this morning at the Half Moon Cruise Terminal. A lot of folks still coming off the ship there. At the airport, we have a dew point now in Norfolk of 72. Dew points generally in the lower to mid 70s. So a lot of humidity out there. Air temperatures only in the 80s right now, but it's going to warm up into the lower to mid 90s. You factor in the humidity, it's going to feel like it's up around 101, maybe 102 as we head through the afternoon. So the heat and humidity are in place. I expect a lot of sunshine. We will see a little more cloud cover around midday, and then partly sunny to mostly sunny skies across the region this afternoon. Very low risk of a stray shower or storm into North Carolina. Now you might be wondering, is the heat done? No, it is not. Not after today. We're back up to 95 tomorrow. Wednesday 93, 95 on Thursday, and then we start to cool it back down into the weekend. So Friday, most likely still a little above the average highs, which are in the upper 80s, and then we'll be mid to upper 80s Saturday into Sunday, and then temperatures more like 86 for the middle of next week. So there is some relief down the road, but the next 4 or 5 days here in Hampton Roads are going to be very, very hot. Now, I mentioned we would get into the wildfire situation, and we have dozens of wildfires out west still burning. We're talking areas from Utah through Nevada and back into California, and especially up into Washington. Firefighters are working to keep the flames from spreading further, but they're dealing with challenging conditions. Reed Binion reports.
Nobody wants to sit out here in triple-digit temperatures for hours on end. Residents in western Nevada under evacuation orders Sunday due to a large wildfire burning north of Reno.
A quick gust of wind, and that's when the fire will spark up again. So that's why we are keeping residents out of those communities.
As of Sunday night, the bug fire had burned more than 11,000 acres. It's burning along Nevada's border with California, a state also facing wildfires, including the Ridge Fire in Southern California, which resulted in a temporary freeway closure and major traffic jam. Winds seen here whipping that blaze up into a so-called fire devil. The blaze was eventually brought under control. In Nevada's neighbor to the east, Utah, firefighting efforts turned deadly. A helicopter crashed with 2 people on board who authorities say were battling the Widemouth 2 fire. Both the pilot and the passenger were killed. Meanwhile, some evacuation levels have been downgraded in the massive fires that have burned over the last week in Spokane County, Washington. But the fight against those blazes isn't over, and the devastation is massive.
I've lost everything I own, everything I ever worked for, but I found out people love me.
Across the border in Canada, more flames. One blaze, the Bald Range wildfire in British Columbia, forced roughly 12,000 residents to evacuate.
Conditions are extremely dangerous and changing minute by minute.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
And again, we'll take just a moment here to show you some of the smoke that is out over the western U.S. You can see portions of northern California across northern Nevada. The smoke is pretty dense, and it extends up across Idaho, eastern portions of Oregon. Dense smoke around the eastern portions of Washington state, all the way through Montana. You take a look here up towards Kalispell and Whitefish, Montana, back down towards Billings and into northern sections of Wyoming. It looks like portions of Utah are starting to get a little bit of a break, but again, those wildfires still burning along the Wasatch and out to the west there as well. You get into the southern mountains a little bit there. Back across Colorado, things are starting to improve, but still a lot of smoke from those fires off to the northwest, and that smoke is working across portions of Nebraska and Kansas as well. So we'll continue to watch that and continue to watch for stories coming out from the west, as it is still wildfire season, and obviously they have their hands full. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and coming up in just a bit, we've enjoyed a nice quiet stretch in the tropics, but the Atlantic and Pacific are really starting to crank up. What we're tracking this morning coming up. Plus, an earthquake shakes a hospital in the middle of surgery. Look at that. The incredible new video out of Japan. Welcome back. We are now moving into the hurricane season, the peak of the hurricane season over the next month and a half to 2 months. It is coming, and finally, it's been so quiet for weeks. I've been saying, yeah, it's quiet and nothing really expected. We had all that Saharan dust coming into play, disruptive, wind conditions with our super El Nino. We were wondering, when are things going to get going? Well, you take a look at the normal season, and of course, it winds down November 30th. As we're right here at August 10th, we are just coming into the busiest time. So you would expect some activity, but it has been really, really quiet up to now. As we take a look, I want to show you what's finally starting to pop up. I'll tell you this, the Caribbean's still quiet, the Gulf is still quiet, but we do have an area here off to our east. It's moving away, so I'm not worried about that. And a couple areas here across the main development region that we are monitoring. Let's start with this one again. Chances for development here pretty low, but you are seeing more convection as this thing is moving along. So we'll keep an eye to that one. Only around a 10 to say 15% chance for development there. About a 10% chance with this area here as it moves along. The models don't really do much with that one. But I'll tell you this one, to the south and to the southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands, you're going to see this likely develop. There's a 60% chance right now. I can tell you that both the Euro and the GFS, two of the global models that we look at out over the next 10 to 14 days, they both develop this thing and bring it kind of to the northeast of the islands and then recurve it before getting to Bermuda. But they bring it pretty close, and they do develop that. So we'll have to see how things go with this, but I would say there's a pretty good chance. I've got pretty high confidence that that will develop, unless it gets into a really, hostile environment and it were to shear apart. And sometimes that happens with these El Nino global weather patterns, and the winds can be disrupted there. But right now, Hurricane Center believes pretty good shot that this thing is going to develop. And again, both the Euro and the GFS are showing that. Now, there are 3 different areas here that all have chances for development. This one here off the coast of Mexico, not really much of a chance, only 10%, and it's weak and offshore anyway, far enough. This one does have a moderate chance, but it's already cruising off to the north, so this would likely not have much impact on Hawaii. This is the area that I am most concerned with. You can see the chances for development over this coming week, 90%. 90%. And the European model this morning was carrying it right over the Hawaiian Islands. The GFS had it a little farther to the north. This looks like it's super close to Hawaii right now. That's about 1,000 miles away. So, I mean, it's still a good distance away. There's still time for things to change. But there's a good chance that sometime this week this becomes Hernan. That's the next name. You remember Genevieve was the last one. Hernan is the next name on the list here in the Pacific, in the Eastern Pacific. And we'll see that one may have some impacts on Hawaii down the road. So we are going to be keeping you updated and really focusing on that a lot, I think, over the coming days until it either impacts Hawaii or clearly has no threat. Keep checking back with us for more. Now, in addition to this, we have what is left of Typhoon Dolphin. It is now a tropical storm, but it was a typhoon as it came on over, really impacting the southern Japanese islands, and Okinawa was hit. It also brought some heavier or enhanced rainfall to the Philippines and to Taiwan as it was moving along, big rainmaker for this whole region. And they've already been dealing with monsoon rains in the Philippines as well. So this thing has been, Typhoon Dolphin has been a troublemaker, and as you can see, it's been slamming China coming in. Now, we first told you about the storm last week as it made its way past Japan's southern islands. The typhoon made landfall in China on Sunday, and this video shows just how strong the winds have been. You can see they flipped a truck on its side. Typhoon Dolphin is the most powerful tropical cyclone to hit China this year, bringing torrential rain, flooding, and even causing landslides. Now, this same system also brought some heavier rain to the Philippines, and the storm intensified those monsoon rains near Manila over the weekend, displacing more than 12,000 people. Rescue teams had to use boats to search for people in need of help. The torrential rain also triggered landslides in the northern part of the country. Take a look. 5 people were rescued today, and 7 more remain missing after a landslide buried 3 homes on Sunday. All right, now we're going to turn our attention from the tropics to an earthquake, and you can see again the path here as it came across, impacting Okinawa. But I want to take you to the southern part of Japan, not to talk about the tropics, but to talk about the earthquake that hit last week. As of right now, there is a little earthquake within the last 12 hours across northern Japan, and another little one. And they deal with earthquakes a lot in Japan. But the one last week was a big one. And we're zooming in to an area in southern Japan. You can see it's out to the east of Nagasaki and Kumamoto, okay? This is the town that we're going to take a look at because we are getting a closer look at the impacts from that earthquake last week. It was 6.8 in magnitude, and this is video from inside an operating room at Kumamoto General Hospital. Look at that, July 28th. Surgeons were performing abdominal surgery when the earthquake struck. You could see the doctors rushing to hold the patient steady and keep equipment from falling over for about 30 seconds. At one point, the power even went out. This was just one of 4 surgeries going on at the hospital during the quake. We're told all surgeries were successfully completed, but the hospital temporarily suspended operations for a week. That is wild. Can you imagine? All right, coming up next, strong storms slammed the Northeast over the weekend. We'll have a closer look at the damage left behind and what's in store for the region today. Welcome back. Cleanup is underway after strong storms slammed parts of the Northeast over the weekend. This is a look at the damage in Springfield, Massachusetts. The National Weather Service says a macro burst packing winds of more than 70 miles an hour moved through the area on Saturday. The storm knocked down trees and power lines and even caused a building to collapse. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but the storm left about 45 people without a place to live. The Red Cross is now helping them out. In New Jersey, an Amazon driver had his shift cut short after a tree fell on his truck during a storm. Anthony Carlo reports from Plainfield.
Mother Nature had no regard for Amazon's delivery schedule, delivering a crushing blow to one of their box trucks. The monstrous tree brought down by the storm with such force, it nearly cut the truck in half.
It sounded pretty bad. I thought like it actually hit the house when I heard. Yeah, it just sounded like an explosion pretty much.
The people who live on Hillside Avenue in Plainfield say the driver was out delivering and nearly jumped out of his skin when he saw the tree toppling over, bringing power lines with it.
He ran over and I said, oh, you could come up here. And he was like, oh, no, there's somebody still in the car. So the neighbor that lives right next door, he came and was like, oh, you guys have a knife or something so I can cut it. And I was like, oh, okay, hold on. So I went and got one of my kitchen knives and he cut the seatbelt off. And he got him out. He was walking and holding his stomach.
It was like someone turned the faucet on and let it run. Streets flooded in Patterson and Jersey City because of the torrential rainfall. More trees fell over train tracks, too, causing a myriad of NJ Transit disruptions. This family, on their way to MetLife for the Usher Chris Brown concert, had to jump through hoops just to get into town.
We was going to EWR, but it was because of the storm. They wouldn't let us land there, so they canceled our flight last minute.
Are you running a little late for the concert?
No, we actually early. We made it. Anything for Chris Brown.
Back in Plainfield, some would do anything to have the package they were waiting for. Leonard says he was expecting an item, but then received an update from Amazon,
saying that they had attempted to make the delivery of my package and they ran into an issue. I'm guessing that was the issue.
All right, let's show you where we have severe weather going on right now. We'll start off with a look at the national map, and we can take this full. Let's go ahead and get a good look at what's going on. I'm going to zoom in to portions of Ohio and Pennsylvania. So as we do that, you can see there are a few warnings that are ongoing right now. Let's give you some information. First of all, this one across the southeastern part of Pennsylvania, Lancaster and York counties, about 540,000 residents there in Pennsylvania under that warning. Just a severe storm warning. Again, gusty winds, a primary threat, some lightning there as well. South and east of Cleveland, we have about 600,000 there from Akron to Cuyahoga Falls, Kent, and Stowe. Some of the counties there, or some of the cities in those counties there around Portage, Summit, and Medina. So a lot of folks there, and just off to the north, again, another 100,000 or so under that. So there are some severe storms out there right now. Rain across parts of Missouri. We're going to continue to watch these areas back to the east. Down to the south along the Gulf Coast, some spotty showers, not looking too bad. Now, the severe weather outlook for today, there are some areas from South Dakota into Iowa, southern and southwestern Minnesota, and then across the northern part of the Ohio River Valley from Illinois through Indiana and Ohio, we have Category 2 or slight risk. As we look ahead to tomorrow, there's a slight risk here across the Commonwealth, and you can see that extends from Illinois and Indiana. For Hampton Roads specifically, a marginal level 1 threat here. So gusty winds, a primary concern. For Wednesday, that marginal threat shifts a little farther to the south, but I do think we could see a few stronger storms later in the day tomorrow, so we'll be watching for that. And then looking ahead to Wednesday, again, that chance down to the southwest. All right, we're going to take another quick break. Coming up, I will have the work week forecast, when we can expect that cool down, and I'll detail our rain chances coming up. Welcome back to the Weather Desk. We're going to take a look at our forecast for Hampton Roads. You can see the Carnival Sunshine, this cruise ship that is now in at the Half Moon Cruise Terminal. We're going to see some sunshine. It's a little hazy out there right now. We do have a little bit of cloud cover. Rain chances today pretty minimal. I do expect maybe a stray shower storm down in eastern North Carolina. Better chances tomorrow for some isolated showers or storms. And again, a little bit stronger, a few of the storms, especially out to the west. But we could see maybe that slight risk. I mentioned a marginal risk of a severe storm here in Hampton Roads, with gusty winds being the concern. Wednesday, we also have a chance for a few afternoon showers or storms. Thursday should be dry. It's going to be hot all week. Friday, some more isolated showers and storms, and then it should be a little drier, and it will be cooler by the weekend. If you're going to the beach today to beat the heat, just a slight chance for a stray shower or storm. I don't think we'll see much in Virginia Beach. Skies are going to be mostly to partly sunny. UV index very high. Rip current threat is low. Water temperature now just offshore, 79 degrees. How about the bay, 83? Feeling a little bit like bath water out there. Waves about 1 to 2 feet, so a pretty good day to get out and paddleboard. Winds light, just 10 knots. As we take a look, couple light returns down to the south. I don't know that that's actually legitimate rainfall. Might be picking up a few sprinkles aloft, but I think we're generally dry this morning. Later this afternoon, slight chance for that stray shower or storm passing by. Overnight tonight, see the model does break a little shower down to the south. I don't think we'll see too much here, but I'll mention just a slight chance for a stray shower or storm. And then tomorrow afternoon and evening, better chances for some wet weather across parts of the region as we go later in the day. Highs today, low to mid 90s. It is going to be a hot day with the humidity. It's going to feel like it's around 101 or 102, warm down to the south. And again, you see that chance for a stray shower or storm, kind of hit and miss. As we take a look ahead tonight, we're going to find temperatures down around 78, partly cloudy, a stray storm possible. Tomorrow back up to 95, partly sunny with a low risk of isolated storms. I was going to show you the 7-day forecast, but you'll just have to take my word for it. It is going to be a warm one, so get ready for more heat through the work week. I hope you've enjoyed this edition of the Weather Desk. We'll see you next time.